and welcome to the Budget and Finance Committee. Today is Monday, July 24th, 2023. Voting members to my right, we have Councilor District E, Estefan Infante, and to my left, we have the Vice Chair of this committee, Councilor at Large, Ana Levy. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Act of 2022, this meeting of the Budget and Finance Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that a person who would like to listen or to view this meeting while in progress might either attend in person at the location above or use one of the following assets: Facebook, Lawrence City Council page, and YouTube, Lawrence City Council page. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilors, we have a few minutes to approve. Can I get a motion to approve minutes from 5/30/2023, 5/31st, 2023, 6/1/2023? And
6/5.
I mean, those are not the dates.
Yeah, 6/1 and 6/5.
The hearings?
The budget.
Okay. So we have a minute to approve for the budget hearings, and those were at 5:30, 2023, 4/31st, 2023, 6/1, 2023, and 6/5, 2023. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved. Second.
All right, we have a motion on the table, properly second. Discussion. I hear none. At this time, I call the question. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. So we have no councilors online. So we are good to just call it like we have. All right, we have a few items today as a new business. Item 26723, we won't be able to discuss this item since we have a potential conflict of interest with one of the members of this committee, which is myself. I work for the Department of Transportation, and I won't be able to engage into this discussion. I encourage the members of the committee to just take it out of, remove it from committee and be able to discuss that as the full council. So next Tuesday, they'll be able to do so with 6 votes. The next item on the agenda, we have item 26823, which is the authorization to spend funds for the amount of $10,000 partner in child development grants. Janet Abreu, the library director, is here with us.
Hi.
Hi Janet, how you doing?
Thank you, council members.
Just name and address for the record,
Janelle.
and then explain to us these $10,000.
Janelle Abreu, Lawrence Public Library Director. The $10,000 are actually from a huge partnership we've had with our telehealth kiosk. We've embarked now in a little bit over a year with a program to facilitate healthcare providers in a virtual world and finding a way to build a gap between the digital equity. This grant has been a continuous support from PCD, who recently just had a name change. And what we would like to see with those grant funds used is a way to promotionalize the ability to use that telehealth kiosk. More so, we've noticed with statistics gained that there's a versatile use for that space. And we're realizing that we have a population after the pandemic that's left children within the spectrum that are looking for quiet spaces to study. In addition to that, we're realizing that there's also a need for places of expression. So we're realizing that the rooms is being reserved for study meeting and podcasting. All in all, we're really in regards to statistically observing where this is going. And the partnership that we've been able to curate with this partnership has allowed us to see that I think that we're gonna hopefully endeavor into more kiosks in the near future with the library, because we're realizing that there's a pivotal moment for more private spaces as people embark in entrepreneurship, whether they're meeting with their healthcare providers, and in addition for more quiet study spaces.
Councilors, any questions in regard to this item? All right, I entertain a motion at this point.
Motion to approve and send it to the full council with favor recommendation.
Second.
All right, there is a motion on the table, properly second, discussion. We hear none, so all those in favor, please say aye.
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 The ayes have it.
Thank you, council members. Have a great evening.
Next item on the agenda is 26923, which is the authorization to spend funds up to $500,000. Eversource Street repair reimbursement. Jorge Jaime, the DPW director, is he here with us? All right, councilors, any desires on this item?
Motion to table.
Second.
All right, there is a motion to table, properly second, no discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. The next item is item 27523, which is the proposal for COVID RPAD payment to Lawrence resident of $100 per person. It was put together by Councilor Rich Russell. So Rich, you're here tonight, so explain to us what is this item?
Thank you, Committee President, Chairman. So it isn't often I get to speak from this side anymore. A constituent, namely myself, is sick and tired of seeing ARPA money, which basically stands for, if I'm not mistaken, American Rescue Plan Act, being used what I consider an inappropriate manner. Nothing has ever been done for all of us that stood in line for COVID shots or stood in line in 10-degree weather for an hour and a half to have COVID tests. Everything is being spent on what I consider waste of time, waste of money on various projects that are not doing anything to rescue the, what do you want to call it, indignities that the citizens had to go through while we were going through the COVID thing. So I would like to propose that, I don't care where the city comes up with the money, they managed to find money for a lot of projects, let's put it that way. I would like to propose that the citizens that can prove that they either got COVID shots or they can prove that they stood in line and took a COVID test be paid one lump sum payment of $100. I think it's only fair. And like I said, ARPA stands for, again, American Rescue Plan Act. That's one acronym. I've come up with another acronym, another robbery politically administrated. So I would like to see this push forward, but if it doesn't, I'm trying to do something for the citizens. Nothing's been done for the citizens directly. With that, I rest my case.
All right, councilors, any questions in regard to this proposal? There was a letter explained to us here on the package. Councilor Rosso just explained the intakes of the proposal. Any questions in regard to this item? We hear none. At this point, I would like to ask a question to Councilor Russell. Will you consider a proposal that it will be more related to public servant that actually didn't get nothing at all during the pandemic and stay working during all those times, the police department, fire department, health and human resource, and all those people that actually did a lot of work for the community as well? A lump sum of $1,000?
For the people, city employees that worked?
Yes. That work here, because everybody was working, but not necessarily.
No, I mean, what you do with city employees is one thing. I'm trying to do something for the citizens. I mean, I don't pat myself on the back. I'm a trained professional. I'm used to standing outside in 10-degree weather for hours on end in my profession. But there were a lot of people. I saw 2- and 3-year-old kids standing in line. If they can prove that they got the COVID test and they got a COVID vaccine, they should be entitled to something for basically what I consider indignities to humanity for having to go through what we went through.
Councilor Infante.
Thank you. I guess I have a comment. I'm struggling to kind of agree with you with one part of your proposal, and it's the part if the citizen or individual can prove that they stood in line to get a COVID shot. And the reason why I'm struggling with that, because when the vaccines first came out, we had a group of people that went by their own will to get vaccines, to get vaccinated. And then all of a sudden, people were getting incentivized to get vaccines. So the people after that, the group after that, got something out of it. So I'm thinking more of the people that did it the first time, no hesitation, and didn't get anything for it. And then when the government was pushing for a healthier, for us to be healthier and safe, they came up with even our own city with gift cards and all these incentives. I think it's a lot harder to prove if you were standing in line to get tested, but in terms of the actual COVID shot or vaccines, everyone should have their card, or they can still obtain it.
I still carry my card, okay? If I'm not mistaken, the results of the COVID tests were emailed to everybody that took them. It isn't too hard to go back into your email and pull out. I mean, I know I took, doing what I did with the Veterans Food Pantry, I had well over 50 COVID tests, only because I wanted to protect the people that I was working around. 50, I'm gonna say 50 tests, and let's see, I'm gonna say about an hour each time I stood in line down there at Manchester Street Park. That's 50 hours. That's $2 an hour for the indignity of being told that I have to have a COVID test, or using my brain in order to protect people's health that may not be as well off in as good a shape as mine. But again, I feel that the citizens are entitled to something. I don't like seeing the way the money came down. It was orchestrated by Congress, and then it got sent down to various bureaucratic administrations, people who were appointed, not elected, but were appointed, and they all of a sudden decided, oh, we can take this money and we can do this, we can do that, we can do that. I don't think that's the intent. But again, they get away with it. I mean, I may be yelling into the wind with my request, but I feel that somebody has got to come out and say something. I mean, I see money wasted left and right. I see the free cash account. It's like an ATM machine, and we, the council, are the ones that have to have the key to the thing. Oh, we need $500,000, we need $700,000, take it out of free cash. Hey, take this money out of free cash. I don't even want to hesitate a guess as to how much that would probably run. I'm going to say $100 a whack. I'm going to say maybe 50,000 people. So we're talking, $12 million? I don't know, $10 million, $7 million? It is what it is. But I think the citizens, the individual citizens that are not being, that are not gathering any results personally. Yeah, it's great to drive around the city and see improvements being spent with this ARPA money. But it would be nice if they were paid back for the indignities that they had to stand, out in line. You couldn't get in unless you could prove you had a COVID test. You couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. I mean, that's my thought process.
Councilor Levy?
Thank you, Council Chair. So it's going to be either one, or they can prove.
If they can prove that they took one test or that they got a COVID vaccine, either one is sufficient to prove that they are eligible for a reimbursement from the city.
Okay, so if a family like of 5, a baby, and something.
Yes, if they can prove that the baby, if you have 7 kids, if you can come in with 7 COVID tests vaccine cards, or 7 emails that say that A, B, C, D, E, and F all had a COVID test, that would be sufficient to warrant the $100, you know, per person. I mean, $100 may be a little bit abstract. I mean, I'd be even willing to get down to $50. But, I mean, the people deserve to be paid for, like I said, the indignity of having to go through what we went through, while we see money being, in my opinion, being wasted on various projects.
Beside of that we can decide, okay, or going with the vaccination or the test or whatever, do you know what is gonna be practically the process of doing so?
Do I know what?
The process, it's gonna be like a card, it's gonna be cash, or do you know how it's gonna be the process, or how we can?
Quite frankly, it doesn't matter where it comes from, whether it's cash. They could give me $50 in pennies. I'd be happy as the devil. No, really. I mean, I'd have a hernia carrying the $50 worth of pennies out, but, you know, it doesn't matter how it comes. It comes cash, it comes a check, it comes in a gift card, fine. It is something to pay back the citizens for what they went through.
Or by mail,
Huh?
or by mail, the same way that the government did it? By mail.
You know, I mean, when I originally crafted it, I was thinking of $10 per test. I would have walked out of here with over $500, because I can pull the emails up. Like I said, I went through 52 of them.
5,000?
$10 a test. But no, I said, no, all you gotta do is just prove one. You know, I wanna leave money for somebody, or at least try to leave money for somebody.
All right. Councilors, any other questions in regard to this item? I entertain a question, a motion at this point.
Motion to send it to the full council as a committee report.
Second.
There is a motion on the table to send it to the full council as a committee report. Discussion. I hear none, so at this point I entertain a question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you, committee members.
Item on the agenda, we have item 28423, which is the authorization to spend grant. 28323.
Yes.
28323, which is the authorization to spend grant funds for the amount of $58,832 fiscal year municipal road safety grant. It was put together by Ms. Sherpens, Director of Support Services. So tell us about this.
Hi, good evening.
Address for the record.
I'm sorry? Oh.
Address for the.
Okay, my name is Rosa Shepard, and I'm the Director of Support Services at the Lawrence Police Department. Yep. The traffic grant, or the municipal road safety grant, is a grant that we've been applying for the past 5 years, and we have received it. We use this grant to pay for overtime. We pay for events, basically. What we do is we go to the most busy streets in Lawrence and make sure that we do the clicker ticket, winter impaired driving, child safety, child safety, and also we buy equipment for the streets, such as a radar, to limit to watch for the people speeding on the street, and we also attend to events to promote safe driving. Community we go to schools, and we go community events to promote safety driving.
Quick question on this. Who is Municipal Road Safety?
I'm sorry?
Who is this organization, Municipal Road Safety?
It's the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Those are the ones that promote the grant, but of course it's given to us over the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, which is the EOPS.
So it's a federal agency, or it's a non-profit organization?
No, it's a federal agency.
It's a federal agency. So Municipal Road Safety Grant.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm asking is because some time ago, there was organizations, perhaps insurance companies, that were promoting police department from different municipalities. And they were granting grants for them to buy speed guns that they can, people can get a ticket and eventually insurance go up. So that's why I was wondering, who is this organization? To make sure that there is nothing related to private organization that might benefit from any particular ticket that people might get.
No, it's not a private organization. This is, I mean, it's a federal state grant given by the EOPS.
Okay. So the organization is the MRS? No. Yes. The organization is not, no. What's the federal organization?
It's the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security.
So it's coming through there, but who is the federal organization?
It's the Municipal Road Safety, I mean, it's the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. So they offer the grant through the EOPS.
Councilor Infante?
Thank you, through you, Chair. So, this grant, how, I mean, I understand how we're gonna be using it, but how is it going to improve what we've been doing in terms of traffic enforcement? Because we've been struggling, and it's not necessarily the individual resources, it's really the personnel issue that we're having. So we can continue buying, I know it's needed in a department, so how are we going to balance that with the current challenges that we're facing?
Well, it's something that we definitely have to look through it. As you mentioned, I mean, it's a great program. They offer overtime, they pay for it, but we're struggling with the personal. I mean, we can go out there and give 100 tickets, but enforcing, yes, is something that we definitely, police department is working through because we don't have enough personnel in the system to do this. But of course, I mean, we are trying to incentive the ones that we have by saying, hey, we're gonna give you this much if you work that many hours. And yes, they do it, of course, for more money. I'm not gonna say no.
Thank you. Well, thank you for everything you guys are doing. I always say this, I know it's not easy.
I know. Thank you.
Councilors, Councilor Levy?
Thank you. I have a question. It's not regarding this specific grant. It's regarding, okay, so when you come here and you submit a grant, we approve it, you get it. Who supervises those grants, that the grant is being done on the way that it's supposed to be done? Who requests the money just to get the payments, or how make it the report? Who do that?
I oversee the grants and I submit the reports.
So at this point, how many grants have you been receiving, like this year, and they are up to date, or?
All grants are up to date. As of today, they are up to date, yeah.
Can we have a list of all the grants submitted, received, and, you know, how much money have you been get for those grants, you know, from the amount that they were supposed to get paid? What grant is terminated or is over right now that maybe you're gonna do it next year or for the rest of the year, because we already started a new year right now? Would you be able to send it to us, that information, please?
I can provide not the current ones, because we just applied for this one. I can provide you the FY23. Yes, I can provide you with a list. Yeah. Again, some of those grants were filed late. It's still pending to be reimbursed.
Okay, it doesn't matter, but at least we would like to see how those grants is being managed, see we are doing, you know, the way that we've been supposed to do it, what is pending, what is not pending. So I know that some of those grants is maybe 2 years, no?
Older than 2-3 years, we probably go far
so
back.
we would like to see, you know, how those grants is being working at this point.
Sure, I can
Please.
provide you with a list, yes.
Can you add that sheet that Councilor Levis is asking to the quarterly report, so we can see the progress of those grants?
Where would I submit the quarterly report?
The police department have a quarterly report, so can you make that part of the quarterly report?
Sure. Yep.
So we can see because I mean, the reason why we send the police, because I think that's the department that received the most grants.
Yeah, definitely. And as a matter of fact, I'm working with the controller's office because she has to submit a report at the end of September, so I'm working with her to clean up some of the grants and make sure that we're good.
Right, Councilor Infante?
Thank you. This is actually a comment for my colleagues, and perhaps this could be discussed at the full council, but if we're asking one department to provide a summary of the grants and how it's being used, I think it's fair to ask all the departments to include that receive grants or that we approve grants for, to include that in the quarterly report, to ensure that departments across the board are utilizing the grants how they're supposed to be, or so we can have an idea what's not being used. I don't think it's fair to just ask one department to do that.
I mean, Councilor Infante, this is not about being fair, it's about starting a new process. We just come up with it.
That's what we just came up with the idea,
Yep.
so I'm putting out
Let's
another
add it
idea.
up,
Can we include the other departments?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we actually get, I remember that Councilor Payano, myself, and a couple other councilors, Councilor Levy, we were pushing forward so bad to get those reports to the city council. Now we're getting other departments. Before COVID, we were getting them. During COVID, it was a little bit of a challenge, but now we're getting those reports back. So we were trying to develop a template for all of the departments, but each department work a little different. But that's something that we can definitely ask each department to include the grants that they receive and how they managing it. Perhaps money is spent up to date. And then at the end of the year, you can, if it is a grant for a year, supposed to be spent it all. If it's not, so we can see. That's a good idea. We can send that up and bring that up to the full council as well during the discussion. Councilors, any other questions in regard to this item?
No, just only comments to
Councilor Levy.
Infante. I was thinking to ask again to Teresa to send the email, okay, requesting that the report. But like I've been talking with some of the directors, that we do not want only one page, okay? Because before we were getting practically a little book regarding everything that they're doing. So there are some people, some directors that I'm sending only one page and not reporting everything, like it's including grants and any other money that they are getting through, either through ALPA, through us, or whatever, you know, that they should show in there and how they're doing, what is the progress that they are doing too.
And can I?
Yes.
Which if the directors are keeping good records, it should not take long to pull that information and create that little booklet that you're discussing, that you're talking about, so.
We're trying to make it so easy to each department, perhaps saying like, if you make it 3 quarterly, so you probably have the final right there. Just combine it and merge it up. But yes, it's been a challenge on that quarterly report, and that's a chattel request. It's not like we wanted to have it. It's a chattel request.
Yeah, channel request, yes.
That established that each department, most of the department, have to have a quarterly report, and then we also add a municipal ordinance locally to change which report we get quarterly, which one we get every 6 months, and so far so on. But yeah, if you can add those to the quarterly report, the police department has been doing good with the report since the beginning. No issues whatsoever. We're happy about it. And just a matter of adding that stuff.
Sure.
All right, councilors, any questions in regard to item 28323?
Motion to send it to the full council with favor recommendation.
Second.
All right, there is a motion on the table, properly second, discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Now we're going to item 28423, which is the authorization to spend $53,737 fiscal year 19 Able Brain Memorial Justice Grant. Again, the police department through Ms. Sherpa is here. Explain to us a little more about this grant, and we can go from there.
This grant is from the Department of Justice, or the DOJ, or the in the Office of Justice Program, or OJP. This grant was awarded to the Lawrence Police Department in 2019. Unfortunately, we did not come in front of the City Council to present it and to get the proper approval to spend the grant. We did spend the funds, but now we are required by the DOJ to open a project number, report it in the MUNI system, and submit that report to the DOJ. So unfortunately, yes, this grant was awarded to us in 2019, but we never came in front of the City Council for proper approval. This grant was for to buy a Mark Cruiser with the upgrades. That was the intent for this grant, which we used the money for the correct reasons.
So you guys use the money, but the money is not being reimbursed yet?
Not yet.
Okay, that's the case. All right, so we have the cruiser. And now we need to try to get the funds back.
Yes.
All right, councilors, any questions in regard to this? I hear none, I entertain a motion. Discussion.
Yes,
Councilor Levy.
thank you. Okay, so, because this is from 2019. So you got the grants, you spend the money, but I never came in front to us just to let it know about getting the money and using the money.
That is correct.
They didn't get authorization to spend
They
that.
didn't get the authorization to spend it.
We did submit the invoices to the DOJ, but they are still requesting a MUNIS report showing that we actually spend the money. We spend the money out of a project.
And we spend the money on the way that we were supposed to spend the money?
We did. We did.
So a vehicle that was, a marked vehicle with all equipment was purchased.
Yes.
All right, Councilor Infante.
Do we have other grants that were not brought in front of the council to be authorized?
As far as I know, just this one.
Okay.
We have around 17 to 18 grants as of right now, and I've been working on every single one of them. But so far, this is the only one that we have not come in front of you on the City Council and presented.
And how did you come, like, how did this mistake or this accident come to you?
I am working, I'll be honest, I'm working with Safra. She's from the DOJ, so me and her, we've been working closely because we do have, we have a couple of grants that are extremely late. And looking at that one, we came out to this grant was late. Looking through the system and looking through the paperwork and talking to the controller and Lynn, and we find out that we don't have paperwork in the system from the City Council approval. And I went back to the city clerk to find out if it was anything actually in the system. We couldn't find anything at all either. So that's why we came out to the assumption that this was never presented to the City Council.
Thank you. And now I have a question for my colleagues.
By all means.
Thank you. So what happens if a department spends money that they weren't authorized to spend by the City Council? Like, do we have something on that? I mean, at this point, it's already done, but I'm wondering if it's been done before it.
Now that I know of, now that I can remember. But this is the consequences of not being coming in front of City Council. Obviously, most of the departments require that resolution to be able to get back the funds. As you can see on the items, most of them have a resolution that we actually authorize, and that's basically the part that they're looking for when we have a grant. But yes, as far as I don't know, how, or if it was a deficit on another account of that $53,000, because we didn't get that, because it's a reimbursement. So I'm assuming that at some point, somewhere, it was a deficit of that amount of money. And I also wonder now that I'm thinking, like, when we do the check and balance at the end of the year, from different accounts, if we actually use money from another department to be able to balance this deficit. We just took that vote not that long ago, for fiscal year 2023. So it is interesting to find out about that and how we can avoid at the end. Because at the end of the day, the council, if nothing get presented to us, it's nothing that we know that the city received that, because it's an application, it was a grant award to the department, but until we get it in front of us, we don't know what applications are going out, what grants are being filed for or applied for, and what grants were awarded to the city until we actually have an item. So it's not much that we can do as a council, because those applications are private from each department. But I definitely understand your question. It is concerning. Councilor Levy.
Chair, yes. I would like to make a motion to table and ask the couple to come here.
No table, we have the money. We need to get the money.
What is,
We're gonna have 2 more weeks. It's up to you.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Up to what time this report?
For submit this report,
Yes.
they just want it as soon as possible.
You have a deadline for this?
No, they have not given me a deadline, but I would say maybe every other week I will get an email asking to give the DOJ any update. And so right now, Ramona and Mark Canelo are just waiting for the proper approval to open the project in Munis and submit the report.
What we
But yeah,
can
but
do,
the-
we can send it up to the full council, open the item at the full council, invite the council to be at this full council, and then take a resolution up there. But keeping it here with a pending money coming to the city, we putting the city jeopardized by a risk of not getting the funds at some point. But I entertain any motion.
Motion to send to the full council as a committee report.
There is a motion on the table, properly second discussion. All right, the motion is to, no questions, the motion is to send it as a committee report.
But, okay, so I'm
Any
gonna,
questions?
I'm gonna make it son amendment.
Councilor Levy.
I'm gonna make it son amendment to send the committee report, but we would like to the couple press to discuss this item before any final decision.
I accept Councilor Levy's amendment.
All right, there is a motion on the table to send it as a committee report. Within that motion, there is also an invitation to the council to be present next meeting.
Do we need the attorney also just to give
don't-
us
I
some
don't- I don't think-
information regarding what are the
I don't think we do, but it's up to you to send a full, also an
So we
invitation to
should
the
send
town.
an invitation to, also to the attorney. Not just only because of this, but for future, people who submitting any grant or who requesting any grant and doesn't come to in front of, what's the problems or whatever that we can, be responsible for.
I understand.
So,
I accept Councilor Levy's second amendment.
All right, the motion is to send it to the full council as a committee report with, 2 amendments, which is to invite, the council to be in front of us on that item, as well as to have an invitation being sent to the city attorney, to discuss the possibility, what are the repercussions of, not having an authorization from the council in regard to any grant. Councilors, at this point, I entertain a motion, I call the questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 The ayes have it.
Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is 25933, which is the authorization to spend grant of $10,000, Toxic Youth Reduction Institute. Grant by Chief Mariotti. Chief, explain to us.
Yes,
the
good evening,
grant.
councilors. How are you? Chief Moriarty, Lawrence Fire Department, 65 Lowell Street. This is a toxic, what we call a TURI grant, Toxic Use Reduction. What's the I stand for? Toxic Use Reduction Institute. We got this grant once before, a few years ago, and what the guys do, it's a fire prevention grant, and what they were doing is going out to the sheet metal place, the circuit board places, the automotive mechanic shop, and they're finding what kind of caustic chemicals that the businesses use, and they give them options of safer chemicals, ways to dispose of the chemicals that they have, so that we have a less danger on the environment and less risk to us as first responders should something bad happen, and to those people there that are workers as well. In fact, last time with this grant, they did such a good job that they were nominated for an award, and we went to the State House one day and had a display. Part of the award ceremony, they received an award. They did such an outstanding job. It's a small grant, but it's a no-match grant. It's $10,000, and no, we haven't spent any of it yet, just in case I could see we're thinking about it. We have the check. It's sitting in our drawer. We're waiting. But it's a simple grant. It's used for fire prevention, and it gets us out to the businesses, specific plating and automotive where they use these caustic chemicals. And it's been a great boon for us. I think that it helped keep the safety level in these businesses up and our incidents to go there down.
Right, councilors, any questions regarding to this grant? I hear none. At this point, I entertain a motion.
Motion to send it to the full council with favor recommendation.
Second.
All right, there is a motion on the table, properly second. Any question? There is none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. The next item is...
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next item is item 26023, which is the authorization to spend grant of up $150,000. National Council on Agent Vaccine. Martha Velez is here with us.
Good evening, Martha Velez, Director of Health and Human Services, 155 Haverhill Street.
If it's for
So-
Martha, it's a no.
It's a no. Okay, I don't know, we'll turn away. So, again, we're still on COVID, seriously. The Health and Human Services at the federal level has given some money to the National Council on Aging so that we can continue to educate elders on how important the bivalent booster is, and we have to continue to educate. In the city of Lawrence, we have about 8,000 seniors that have not gotten a booster. We just, actually on the 31st of July, we'll finish with our HRSA grant that we had, and we'll continue now with NCOA, and NCOA is more geared towards seniors, reaching out to seniors, and also people with disability. So we have been doing the work because we do have the HRSA grant, and we're gonna keep the same team. So that's a really good thing, because when I wrote this grant, I wanted to make sure to keep the same team so we still have the same faces going out and doing outreach and knocking on doors. And we're gonna partner with Greater Lawrence Family Health Center to hopefully do some at-home shots for people that can't get out. We also wanna do pop-ups. We're gonna partner with Groundwork Lawrence, who we've been working with since the beginning of COVID. And we're just gonna continue the work that we're doing and hopefully get those 8,000 seniors to understand how important it is to be boosted, because right now, COVID is at a low level, but once we start coming in, if you look at the stats in the south, COVID is rising because people are indoors because it's so hot, and here, COVID is down because we're outdoors. So, everybody, experts and everybody expects that come fall time, we'll see a rise again. So we're hoping that we can continue to educate our elders.
All right, any questions? Councilor Infante.
Thank you. Chair, I wonder, can we, because of a potential conflict of interest with my employer, I don't know, it's not direct with my employer, but there could be a possibility that my employer would be a partner in this. Can we take it out of committee at the council level?
The question will be, is your current employee involved in the grant?
I'm sorry?
Is your current employee involved right now in the grant?
Not in the grant, no,
Not right now.
no.
So if they're not,
They're not.
and then,
Okay, all right, I just want to make
so
sure.
it's not a conflict.
There's so much happening, I just want to make sure.
If it happened after the fact, it's nothing that you can do about it because they are not involved at the moment.
Okay,
Yeah, there's no contract in place, there's nothing in place right now.
okay, thank you. Okay.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Hello.
So this grant is just only from the city, belongs to the city and to the center?
It belongs, it came from the National Council on Aging, it belongs to the Council on Aging through the city, of course. Yeah. It came from the National Council on Aging, so not Mass, not EOEA, not in Massachusetts, it came from the National Council, so it's a federal grant. We have to follow the same guidelines as we did with HRSA, with the reporting and everything else, which is, if I may say so, it's a lot of reporting that you do on a monthly basis to HRSA.
So, but nothing, not, like she was asking, so nothing has to do with any organization, let's say, it's no organization is involved right now.
Right now, no. What we're gonna do is, once you approve it, we
You're gonna
start
try-
we start the contract process, right?
Okay, thank you.
Councilors, any questions in regard to this? I have a question. Well, how the numbers for COVID look in the city of Lawrence?
Right now, they're very low.
Like,
And
what
I've
that
been
means?
speaking to, I don't know the percentage, to tell you the honest to God's truth. I haven't looked at it because I keep in touch with Lawrence General, and I always ask, do you see COVIDs? And they're not seeing any COVID right now, so it's very, very minimal. And people basically will more so test at home. So now that the testing is not required unless, you're really, really sick and you want to find out yourself. So, yeah, but we're expecting it to go up, and we keep close contact, like we meet on a monthly basis just to discuss it. And I have a good relationship with all the housing managers in the city for elderly housings and the Lawrence Housing Authority. So if they see something, we'll know right away.
Do you mind getting those numbers so we know
Absolutely.
how COVID look
Absolutely.
like in the city of Lawrence?
The percentage, sure.
Because we always look at it during COVID and stuff like that. Not the
Yeah.
numbers necessarily, but the percentage that
percent.
trigger any type of change on the COVID thing. Like, I know that before you used to have, if we have a number that is below under a
11%,
specific
yeah,
amount, and then we
11%,
do
yeah.
something regarding to the prevention.
Yeah, it was that the Department of Public Health would send out to us, like the stats, but now they don't. We have to go in and look. And unless it's reported, unless it's reported, which means that a medical institute would have to say, okay, we tested, Martha Velez and she has COVID, and we tested her whole family and she has COVID, and then they would report. But if people are self-report, like self-testing, they won't report.
Listen. All right, great. Councilors, any other questions in regard to this? I hear none. At this point, I entertain a motion.
Motion to send it to the full council with favor recommendation.
Second,
All right, there is a motion on the table, properly second. Any discussion? I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Have a good night.
The next item we have is item 26123, which is the payment of prior year invoice. Alcantara was sent out by Timothy Hewens, our city attorney. He reviewed that, sent an email in regard to this, and recommend this payment to be made. Councilors, any question in regard to this?
Motion to send to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
All right, there is a motion on the table, properly second discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. All right, councilors, at this point, we have no other motion. But before we adjourn, I would like to get item 18123, which is the fiscal year 2020 through city audit out of the table of matters.
Which one? 181?
181.
Okay. So,
Can I get a motion to get that out of the table of matters?
Second,
I already said.
All right, can I get a motion to send correspondence to Mark Iannello to give us an update as of when we're gonna be having these meetings, with these presentations?
so moved.
Second.
All right, there is a motion on the table to send correspondence to Mark Iannello, the CAFO, to give us an update as of when we're gonna be having this presentation, hopefully soon. Or discussion. There is none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Councilors, I entertain a motion to table.
Motion to table.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Councilors, I entertain any other motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, there is a motion to adjourn. Properly second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, councilors.